Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life.
A very good evening, welcome to Premier League Live as we kick off match day 35 in the Premier League. Just a couple of weeks to go of the Premier League season, and Arsenal lead the way at the top by 3 points. It could be 6 points by the time the final whistle goes here at the Emirates, putting all the pressure back on Manchester City to do all the hard work again and chase that gap back down to 0. They'll have the games in hand to do it, but it's about getting the points on the board. And Arsenal with a chance tonight for back-to-back league victories to take that 6-point lead at the top. Already this weekend, 4 games have concluded from the Premier League already. Leeds United 3-1 winners against Burnley, who are already relegated. Last night at Elland Road, a massive 3 points for Leeds in their fight for survival, and they're all but safe surely now at 43 points. Brentford made a big leap in terms of their European fight, up to 6th today with a 3-0 victory over West Ham United, a West Ham side who are now are vulnerable to Spurs, who if they win tomorrow, Spurs would go above the Hammers in the table. A Newcastle side on a torrid run of form, but have turned up against the in-form Brighton side, winning by 3-1 at St James's Park. Brighton, who started the day 6th, now down to 7th, and have lost grip on those top 5 teams this afternoon. And a 1-1 draw between already relegated Wolves and Sunderland, as Sunderland look to continue what has been a fantastic season for them, back in the Premier League already. The main focus tonight, though, is of course on the league leaders Arsenal, as they look to take another huge leap towards the Premier League title. They win tonight, they would have 3 games left to play in the season with a 6-point lead at the top, but crucially, Manchester City will still have to play this weekend and would still have a game in hand. Also this weekend, Bournemouth Palace, Liverpool Man United is our feature game tomorrow, Aston Villa Spurs at 7 tomorrow night, and then on Bank Holiday Monday it's Chelsea Forest, and then Everton Manchester City concludes the weekends. Let's have a look at the 2 teams for this one, starting with the home side in Arsenal. David Raya starts in goal, the back 4 of Ben White, William Saliba, Gabriel and Ricardo Calafiori comes in at left back as Nketiah drops to the bench. Declan Rice is alongside Miles Lewis-Skelly in midfield, with Ebere Eze in the 10. Bukayo Saka returns to the starting 11, he starts on the right, Trossard off the left, and Victor Gyökeres leads the Arsenal line. On the bench for the Gunners, Kepa, Mosquera and Nketiah, Madueke, Zubamendi, Daumann, Norgard, Jesus and Martinelli. Well, for Fulham, you have to say they have made a late push for European football with a recent good run of form. Only 1 defeat in the last 5 league games. Leno starts in goal, a back 4 of Castagne, Anderson, Bassi and Robinson. Reid and Lukic are the midfield too, with of course Harrison Reid the captain. Emile Smith-Rowe, the former Arsenal academy player, he starts in the 10. Wilson and Chukwueze as the wingers, and Jimenez up front. On the bench for Marco Silva's side, Lecomte, Tete, Diop, Cuenca, King, Kearney, Bob, Kusi, Asare and Muniz. It's Arsenal against Fulham, as Arsenal look to take an extended lead at the top to 6 points at the Emirates. It's Arsenal against Fulham, and kick-off is next. A very good afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us for this one this Saturday afternoon in what is to be a huge game at the Emirates. An Arsenal side, as I said, with the chance to go further ahead of Manchester City in the table, and a Fulham team who are still not out of the conversation when it comes to Europe, but a win away at Arsenal is not something that Fulham have done in such a long time. We're underway, of course, both sides in their home strips. Arsenal in red shirts, white shorts. Fulham in white shirts, black shorts for this one. What is a very important game, as Harrison Reid goes down right from the off here. Referee this afternoon, Jared Gillett, or VAR, Peter Banks. Here at the Emirates, as Harrison Reid went down under a challenge of Miles Lewis-Skelly. He is just tying his laces, the Fulham captain. Of course, Miles Lewis-Skelly starting in midfield this evening, more usually at left back. And of course, they've been spoiled for choice with left backs really this season. Ricardo Calafiori, Piero Nkapie, and Miles Lewis-Skelly for Arsenal. Of course, Nkapie started against Atletico in Madrid in midweek. Calafiori starts tonight at left back. Lots of options for Mikel Arteta as Lewis-Skelly wins a free kick here as the rain comes down here in North London. Here is Gabriel. To Declan Rice, who drops inside the two centre-backs. And of course, Arsenal really up in the business end of the season, a chance in the Champions League semi-finals. They've got the second leg at home against Atletico in a couple of days' time. Here's Miles Lewis-Skelly, bit of space, Trossard back-heeled away from goal. Taken down here by Leandro Trossard again, and he struck it across goal and struck it wide of that right-hand post. Nice idea again, really nicely done by Miles Lewis-Skelly, who adjusted to that half clearance well and fed the ball back to Leandro Trossard. Here we see it here, the clearance from Calafiori, kind of back-heeled it, picked up by Miles Lewis-Skelly in the air, headed it down towards Trossard, who strode down the left of the box and fired it across from the narrow angle, struck it wide of the post. As Joachim Andersen, the Fulham centre-back, kicks this one long. Of course, Fulham, we have watched them quite recently. This is actually the third week in a row, I think, I've commentated on a Fulham game. Done their 1-0 win over Aston Villa at Craven Cottage lunchtime last Saturday, and of course their 0-0 draw away at Brentford the week prior. They have put up some really strong defensive displays over the last few games, Fulham. Certainly why they've catapulted themselves right back into that mix for European football. Come into this game on 48 points. They're just 2 points off Brighton and 3 points off 6th place Brentford. So a win here, albeit quite unexpected, and wouldn't be the kind of orthodox result you would expect. But if they do come here and win, Fulham, they could really get themselves up the table, and they would go up to 7th with a victory behind Brentford on goal difference. Here they come here. That one's cleared away by Saliba. Here's Anthony Robinson. Back to Calvin Bassey. Nicely intercepted there by Rice. As here's Eze, he gets a little bit ponderous on the ball and gives it away. Back to Robinson it comes for Fulham. Ball played in behind the Fulham defence, but that's going to be easy as you like for Bernd Leno to retrieve. Of course, we talk about former Arsenal players. Bernd Leno made the move from Arsenal to Fulham back in August of 2022 for just over £3 million. Spent 4 seasons here at Arsenal. Bernd Leno played over 100 games for the football club over 4 seasons before he did make that move to Fulham, and then is his 4th season at Fulham this season. Bernd Leno, of course, another former Arsenal player, Emile Smith-Rowe, came through the Arsenal academy, made that move to Fulham. Last season at the end of August 2024, just over £26 million. It was part of the rebuild when in the early years of Mikel Arteta, kind of when they were getting rid of the so-called dead wood and bringing through the youth and Saka and Smith-Rowe and Martinelli and the like. Smith-Rowe was part of that cohort that Mikel Arteta did kind of promote to the first team squad. Here is Gabriel. To Miles Lewis-Skelly. To Gyökeres, who held the ball up well there and fed it wide to White. And now finds Saka down the line. Saka chops onto his left foot, strides in field. Nice little combination there with Trossard, and now Lewis-Skelly. Rice. Wide it goes to Ben White. That's to reverse it back to William Saliba as Arsenal penning Fulham in. Everybody breaking forward as Gyökeres' little flick finds its way to Calafiori. Gets it to Eze, who rolls it through for Rice, but the flag I think has gone up here against Arsenal. That's going to be a free kick. It's a nice play but around the edge of the box. There's two players not involved this evening. Kai Havertz, Martin Odegaard. Two key players. Both not involved for this one this evening. And of course, you have to say, they needed a bit of a refresh, Arsenal. Some fresh legs out there. And of course, with such a congested schedule and so much on the line between in the next week. They win this one, they go 6 clear at the top of the Premier League, and they've got a Champions League semi-final, second leg here in 3 days' time. Home to Atletico after that 1-1 draw in Madrid on Wednesday night. Well, one back by Rice, who slid in well there, finds Gyökeres. Trossard trying to go wide, has to come back in field, and then nowhere to go. Has to play it back to Miles Lewis-Skelly. Fulham getting very compact, and Harrison Reed there giving away the foul. He's going to give Arsenal the free kick. You have to say so far, obviously a lot of Arsenal possession, but Fulham haven't given up too much early doors. They've stayed compact, they've stayed defensively solid, and certainly have needed that. Let's see what they can do from this set piece, the Gunners. It's Declan Rice. Goes short to Ben White. A few yards away from him. Back to Rice again. What can he do? They've gone short again here, Arsenal. Across to Miles Lewis-Skelly. Bodies in the area if they want to use them. Saka down the touchline. Onto his left foot. Back onto his right foot. Left the full back for dead. And across it comes. And poked home by Victor Gyökeres. Perfect from Bukayo Saka with a delivery. And the poacher in the mix, Victor Gyökeres, slots it past Bernd Leno and gives Arsenal an early lead here at the Emirates. I mean, absolutely fantastic from Bukayo Saka. All that build-up work to get it into the area, to get the right cross in. And he absolutely sold the fullback here. I mean, this is absolutely incredible. I mean, it was Raul Jimenez, who's not a defender. He's a centre forward playing left back there. He was completely beaten. They'd gone so narrow Fulham, that Robinson had no chance when Jimenez was beaten. Anthony Robinson had no chance to get to Saka before he put the cross in. And poking it home from a couple of yards out was Victor Gyökeres. It beat past Leno, and Gyökeres was there to pick up the pieces. The perfect beginning to this game for Arsenal, and they lead by a goal to nil in just 9 minutes, and a deserved beautiful build-up play from Bukayo Saka, and the finish matched it. Victor Gyökeres on the score sheet once again. His 13th Premier League goal of the season. It's the second goal in as many games. Of course, he scored that penalty in Madrid in midweek. His first open play goal since the FA Cup. As First open play Premier League goal since the 2-0 win over Everton here back in March. So it's been a necessary one for him. They've won it back again, Arsenal. Fulham have the ample bodies back. Long kick by Bernd Leno. Calafiori won the header, brought down by Trossard. Inside to Lewis Skelly, back to Calafiori. Really nicely done. They've controlled this game right from the off, Arsenal. Really, really strong from the beginning. Let's show you what that would do to the table. Look at that. They would be 6 clear on 76 points, Arsenal. City would be on 70 points, but of course would have 2 games in hand. So would still have the chance to catch them up. They have to play Bournemouth and Crystal Palace. Would be their respective games in hand. As they play Everton this week, so Monday night they can close the gap to 3 points if Arsenal do win here this evening. Here's Ben White. Inside, he gives it really cheaply to former teammate Emile Smith-Rowe, who was hounded there by Declan Rice and fouled by Declan Rice. So free kick to Fulham. Well, it's been a difficult start for Marco Silva's side, you have to say. They really haven't been able to get at Arsenal, really haven't been able to get much of the ball up the field. It's been very much sit deep, stay compact and try and hold out for as long as you can. Well, they didn't hold out for too long. Arsenal have been really in control, dominated the early spell. So here's Calvin Bassey with a long diagonal, looking for the run of Raul Jimenez. So that one will sail over the Mexican's head and into the hands of the Spanish goalkeeper David Raya. Here comes Declan Rice. Fires it out to the right-hand side. Here's Bukayo Saka. Tried to cut inside his man. This time Robinson got a good bit of contact. Sees it out for the throw-in. Taken quickly by the Gunners. A little bit of speed, a little bit of pace in the game, I have to say. I haven't been afraid to be a bit quicker, Arsenal. Up the tempo a little bit. Certainly this season they've been criticised for being a little bit ponderous, a little bit slow, a little bit lethargic at times. When you watch them play, it's very repetitive, but showing a little bit more tempo early doors. Here's Saka. Trossard picks it up here. He's going to go for goal. Dragged it wide of the post. Another glimmer for Leandro Trossard and another chance for Arsenal. Again, not closed down quick enough. Too easy for him to pick up that space, and Fulham really haven't got their marking out of possession right at all here. Early doors, they've looked really, really unorganised at the back. Jimenez trying to hold it up there, but Harry Wilson couldn't take possession. Welcome in, Jason. Welcome in, Rainbow. Thank you very much for joining us. Well, I'm sure that man, Mikel Arteta, will be pretty pleased with how his side have started this game. In control and already in front. Quite comfortably in the ascendancy. As Calafiori wins a throw in there out of Harry Wilson. And there's certainly one thing you have to say. Fulham are not a side that are easy to play against most of the time. A really well coached side under Marco Silva. As I said, only 1 league defeat in 5. That was away at Anfield where they lost 2-0, but they drew with Forest, beat Burnley, which is probably expected. They drew away at Brentford and then beat Aston Villa, which I think is kind of the one where you have to go and think, you know, Fulham have really announced themselves there in the fact of that 1-0 win over Aston Villa last weekend. And a Villa side here quite comfortably in the top 5. It's a completely different task when you Talk about Arsenal away from home. I mean, it's probably one of the games where you think, yeah, you can write that one off. You get anything out of that, you're delighted. But they've never lost in 32 home league games against Fulham Arsenal, so certainly a record that they don't want to end this evening. They've won 25 of those 32 games, the most any side has faced another team without defeat in English Football League history. So if there's ever a one-sided affair in history, it's this one. And already it has been very one-sided. It's been all Arsenal. Here's a long ball in behind. Gyökeres made the run. Flag's going to go up now, though, against the Swede. He played, it was a nice ball, nice idea, but just didn't hold his run. Victor Gyökeres was a little offside. Correct decision. Bassey to Robinson. Fulham want to get a bit of possession as they end up colliding into each other. That probably shows and sums up the first 17 minutes for Fulham. Anything they've tried to do just hasn't worked out so far. Not that they've done too much, or tried too much. As the rain continues to pour down. Marco Silva trying to shout some instructions to his players. White takes the throw in down the line. Gyökeres comes wide, but dispossessed there by Caoimhan Ferris, who loops up the field. And official set went out of play there, so Arsenal will get the throw in. Deep in the Fulham half. I have to say, an early goal is a real comfort for the Gunners. Certainly they don't usually score more than one goal in a game of football, certainly not recently anyway. They're not a team that put 3, 4, 5 past an opponent. Actually haven't scored more than once in any game since they beat Leverkusen 2-0 in the Champions League round of 16 second leg. They won 2-0 here, but that was the last time that Arsenal scored more than once in a game. That's 8 matches, and they've only scored once, at least once, or at most, sorry, once in all of those games, including their last Premier League game here, which was last weekend. They beat Newcastle by a goal to nil. Eberecieze's goal after just 9 minutes was enough to give the Gunners 3 points. They're ready. Did the exact same here. 1-0 up after 9 minutes. Different score this time, but the same logic applies. 19 minutes gone. Arsenal 1, Fulham 0, and I mean, we expected Arsenal to dominate this game. We expected Arsenal to be in control of this game, but Fulham, I think, will be pretty disappointed with themselves. The fact that they've basically just done a lot of defending so far. It's not an Arsenal side that haven't been untouchable. It's not that they've been unable to get at. Unable to be got at is what I meant to say. All the way back to David Raya, who already has the most clean sheets of any Premier League goalkeeper. Actually is only one game away from securing the Golden Glove, as Joachim Andersen pulling Victor Gyökeres down. He's going to give away a free kick. And you can see it here, the long ball in behind, and Gyökeres making that run in the channel. Just being held on to by Joachim Andersen, who does wrestle him to the ground. Referee Jared Gillett giving the free kick, which gets a pretty noticeable reaction from the Fulham centre-back, but it is a foul. Can't really argue that. 20 minutes gone. After with this free kick here on the left-hand side. What can Declan Rice deliver from here. There's bodies in the box. The last free kick, they went very short. Surely this is delivery. Rice whips it in with the right foot, and Leno threw his hands at it. It drops for a Berriese, who had his effort blocked, and real chase on for the ball here. Oh, Ray has come a very long distance into the Fulham half. Plays the pass to Bukayo Saka. If he'd have missed that, it was an empty net on the other ends. And he timed it well, David Raya. Although it's a big risk for a goalkeeper to take it across the halfway line. Incredible. Lewis Skelly to Leandro Trossard, who's come central. He plays it back to his goalkeeper. Saliba. Down the right hand side it goes. One for Jokeres to chase again, but well cut out by Anderson. And then Cena to play by Calvin Bassey, trying to do keepy ups there. Puts it out of play. Eze to Declan Rice. Very heavily involved. Here's Trossard. Drifts infield, finding Lewis Skelly, who helps it along, and Jokeres trying to link up with Eze, but that was cut out well. Fulham trying to spring a counter, but Jimenez run into Gabriel. And the referee's going to give a free kick to Arsenal. It's going to be a yellow card as well for the Fulham player in Sasa Lukic. Fulham a little bit frustrated. They feel that a couple of these decisions going against them, but I mean, I don't know why Sasa Lukic wanted to do that, tried to do that, or what he thought he was going to get out of that, but it's a yellow card. Gabriel. Trossard chased all the way back in field. Back to Saliba, to Berriese, who run into trouble but still hung on to the ball and links it up here, and then they're going to be given the free kick. Jimenez again, a little bit too physical. And now Arsenal, who take the free kick quickly, are away. Here's White. Rolls it through. Jokeres hanging off the back of defenders. Cuts it back for White. Now Jokeres. Again to Rice. Squares it back across to Lewis Skelly. Get themselves in good positions, Arsenal, but very reluctant at times to take shots. Jokeres does well to find Saka there. Saka. Rice. Really nice combinations from the Gunners. Saka across. Finding Lewis Skelly. Run into trouble. Back to Saliba, wide to Rice, who swung it in early, and that one's headed behind by Joachim Anderson for the corner. I mean, really good spell from Arsenal, applauded by the home crowd, and rightfully so. They're playing some nice stuff at the minute, and I think Bukayo Saka has really made the difference in this game so far. His individual skill on the ball, just too good for anybody around him, and he really seems to be on form tonight. He's played really well. He's already set up the opener. And he's going to go over to take this corner on the right hand side. Saka sets the ball right on the edge of the quadrant. Left-footed delivery, narrowly across, and Leno tried to grapple at it. It's dropped here into a mix. As Fulham scramble it clear and out for an Arsenal throw, but Bernd Leno, I mean, for somebody that didn't catch that ball, he looked very calm on his own 6-yard line. was into a real mix of bodies, both players. Like 6 or 7 players in there that were all trying to battle to get the ball. In the end, it drops out and is cleared away for a Arsenal throw, which Calafiori will take. Go long. Half cleared, then only cleared as far as the edge of the box. Eze to Trossard. Clips it with his left foot. Leno again came but missed it. Still drops in the shots. Great save by Leno. Saka dragged it wide. Well, I have to say, the Fulham goalkeeper has not covered himself in glory in the last couple of minutes, but he made a really good reactionary save there. But it was his mistake. He came for the ball and then he gets two hands to it, then just drops it into a place where 3 Arsenal players are waiting, as it eventually is brought down and struck by Gyökeres. Saved well by the Fulham goalkeeper, and then the rebound from Saka just strags it wide of the left post. But I have to say, Fulham are living dangerously there, and Arsenal should be 2 up. It's that simple. Should be 2-0. Well, a win here tonight would be Arsenal's 23rd of the season. Last season they only managed 20 league wins. Here comes Abere Eze. Through to Victor Gyökeres. Carried wide again, but he's still got a hold of the ball. The last touch off Anthony Robinson. It will be a corner. Home fans really enjoying their side start to this game. They've dominated the possession, have had all the shots so far. I mean, from a Fulham point of view, they're very lucky this isn't further a bigger scoreline, because they have been, I mean, literally non-existent in this game. In possession, definitely, and even out of possession, they've been very easy to get through. But Arsenal have added an extra pace and tempo to this game, and they've played really well. Saka flicked across, half cleared. Rice feeds it back wide to Saka. Rice again. Rolls it through. Saka made the run. Cuts it back from the byline. Eze! Deflected. Brought down by White. Trossard. He clips it across. The header is into the back of the net. Riccardo Calafiori adds the second. Arsenal have been pushing for it, and it is the strong, tall Italian that loops it into the far corner. Too much for Leno to keep out, and he doubles Arsenal's lead. Should have been 2-0 a few minutes ago. Well, they've kept the pressure on Arsenal. And Riccardo Calafiori, I mean, it all starts with this beautiful ball by Rice through to Saka. Cuts back for Eze, whose shot was deflected, but White did well to keep the pressure on, kept it alive. Trossard worked himself into an area where he could cross. And Calafiori, I think, is going to be offside here. So, after all that, it's going to be disallowed, from what I could see there. I think he knows it, and I think the crowd are being told it too, because the screen is showing VAR that are checking this, and it is offside, from what I could see there from the replay. Well, all that hard work to fight for the second goal for Arsenal, and it's just going to be called off here in a second. Peter Banks, our VAR, as I said, they are checking this, but I mean, you take one look at it, you know it's offside. And the decision is offside, no goal. They knew it was coming, and there it is, confirmation. Now Calafiori rose well. He just couldn't keep himself on side from the Trossard cross, but really nicely done. Now Fulham Their first attack of the game here. Might turn the momentum of this game all of a sudden. That disallowed goal. It'll take a lot to swing the momentum of this game. So far in Arsenal's favour. Fulham haven't even had a shot yet. They've barely been up out of their own half, Fulham, in the first 30 minutes. Here's Calvin Bassey, striding forward. Has the space. Works it out wide to Smith Rowe. Love to get one over his former employers. Sasa Lukic. Back to Anderson and across now to Reid. Anderson again. Lukic prods it into the path of Robinson, who feeds it back to his centre back Bassey. Castagna wide to Wilson. Fulham with the best spell of possession of the game here. Anderson prods it through. Taking control by Smith Rowe. Out wide it goes. Castagna, Wilson, Harrison Reid. Sharp play here from Fulham all of a sudden. Chukwueze in the centre. Not the effort. Blocked by Rice. Wilson. Nicely done this from Fulham all of a sudden. Chukwueze challenged, but Wilson's quick to retrieve. Arsenal seem to be the team that are on the back foot all of a sudden. That's a lovely ball through, and Wilson's made a fantastic run. He laid it off here to Robinson. Anthony Robinson struck it right at Ben White, and Bukayo Saka, back defending, wins the goal kick. Nicely done by Arsenal. Really patient play to wait for the right moment to close it down, and they win the goal kick. I have to say though, this game so far, I've been very critical of Arsenal's attacking play over the last season or two. I said at the start of this season, I said at quite a few, just a week or two ago after the City defeat, and I said how Arsenal have been over the last few seasons quite negative when they've gone in front, but it's been quite the exact opposite here. I think this afternoon we've really seen the best of what Arsenal have on show in attack. All their attackers have really shown up so far. It's just they haven't been able to find the net more than once, but it's not they haven't tried, and they've played some really nice stuff. I think I've been quite impressed with Arsenal so far in the first 33 minutes, but I mean, Fulham have again shown little to no opposition. Chukwueze. Robinson has to ping one forward. Hopeful one for Smith Rowe to chase, but Rice has it all under control, and Saliba squares it back across to Miles Lewis-Skelly. Rice, White. Really nice combinations again. Oh, the loose bit of a deflection there that drops for Lukic. Now finds Emile Smith Rowe. Bassey. Anderson. One through there. Raul Jimenez wanted the foul, but Gabriel won it fairly, said the referee. Clearly. As we play on. Saliba. Gabriel, last 10 minutes or so of the first half. Arsenal 1, Fulham 0. Could be more for the Gunners, who've had chances. Also had a goal disallowed for VAR for offside, rightfully disallowed, but they've created quite a few chances in this first half. Certainly enough to have more than the one goal that they do have. A little bit forceful there from Saliba. I tried to find a space that just wasn't there. Now, a bit of a move for Fulham. A chase on here for Chukwueze. Just about kept it in play. Did well there, Samuel Chukwueze. Well, the afterburner's on there. Sasa Lukic. Inside as he tried to find it across the area. That's easily retrieved by Leandro Trossard. Gabriel. Hoofs long up the field. And Joachim Andersen climbing over the back of Viktor Gyökeres, but referee said it was fair. It looked a little bit like a foul to me, but the referee let it go. Bassey. Again, space to break forward, and he finds it to Smith Rowe. Now through to Wilson, who looked to try and take the little touch past Calafiori, and then the clearance from Arsenal hits off the back of the defender, behind for the corner. Got a little bit panicky there, Arsenal defensively. Wilson did really well, but Calafiori just played it back to his keeper, tried to get rid quickly. He hit it off the back of Gabriel. That will be a Fulham corner. An opportunity for Fulham to respond from a set piece. Harry Wilson with their first corner of the game. Wilson, left-footed, right into the mix, and Arsenal just about get it clear as Saka tries to send them on the breakaway. Saliba was being held on to by Bassey, and ultimately White here tripped as he tried to play it backwards. Sasa Lukic's cross was cleared away, and then Ben White hooks it out for a throw. Well, I have to say, the Arsenal right back there looked well out of it. He did not look like he was in that battle whatsoever. Not quite lucky there. Certainly Fulham have responded well since that second Arsenal goal was disallowed. Slightly been the better team in my opinion. Played the better football. Looked more of a threat. No clearance there. Chested down by Anderson. Robinson. Couldn't squeeze it through. Rice was there to break it apart, and then Robinson fouling Declan Rice. It's going to give Arsenal the free kick. Yeah, Declan Rice, absolutely incredible. He's played really, really well so far in this game. It's really epitomised the Arsenal performance. Led the play. Gonna kick this one long. Made by Bassey. Brought down by Rice in the midfield. A bit of space here for Arsenal. Try and use it to their advantage. Here's a Bury Eze. Out to the right hand side comes Bukayo Saka. And Lewis Skelly trying to find Eze round the corner, but closed out that time by Fulham. Given away cheaply by Lukic, and now a bit of space here for Trossard. Chopped onto his left and tried to find the corner. Ultimately didn't have the ultimate power on the shot that it needed. Comfortably retrieved by the Fulham goalkeeper. Probably could have had the shot the first time, Trossard. He kind of chopped inside onto his left foot past a man and made it a bit more difficult for himself, but he just hit it straight and hard at the goalkeeper from the first glimpse. He had the space and time. Could have had the shot the first time round, but decided not to. Eze played a lovely ball in behind. Gyökeres is away again. Held up well by Anderson, who responded, but Saka's made the inside run. No one's tracked that, and he fires it into the bottom right corner. Bukayo Saka rifled that one in. Right, low, hard, into the bottom right corner. And he does double Arsenal's lead. Gyökeres' run was all the danger. No one spotted Saka. He broke through, and he fired it into the back of the net. 2-0 to Arsenal, and it's only what they've deserved. And Bukayo Saka, a goal and an assist, seemingly back on his best. And he's played an incredible first 40 minutes here for the Gunners. Arsenal 2, Fulham 0. And the league leaders are going to extend their lead, it seems. Still a long way to go. It all started with that ball by Ebere Eze. Really nicely weighted ball, perfectly timed run by Gyökeres. And as he drags out wide, they think the danger is dealt with Fulham. They are too naive in the fact that no one tracks the run of Saka. And he travels from the halfway line, Saka. And it is Robinson who does track him. He keeps his eye on him. But what he doesn't do is it doesn't anticipate the run. And he goes too close to Gyökeres. Saka has the space in behind Robinson. And he has all the time and space he would ever want. And when you give Saka that type of space and room, you give any winger worth their money that time and space in that area, they're going to 9 times out of 10 find the back of the net. And Arsenal's number 7 did just that. Arsenal 2, Fulham 0. And the Gunners are high flying here at the Emirates. In their first game they've scored more than once since, as I said, that game against Leverkusen here back on the 17th of March. A month and a half since they last scored more than once in a single game of football, Arsenal. That breaks an 8-game streak. But this Fulham side are probably lucky that it isn't more than just the 2, because they have been, by that little spell, probably woeful. You have to say, at this point, Arsenal are not making it easy for Manchester City. Remember, as I said, City will still have 2 games in hand, so the 6-point lead is still very much only for now, based on if City win their 2 games in hand, that will be back to level points and get down to goal difference, which it's crucial, really, for Arsenal in a game like this to add as many goals as they can. They're playing comfortably, they're winning comfortably. Fulham have really shown no threat whatsoever. They rack up the goals, get a third or a fourth here, Arsenal, and the goal difference could very much be in their favour. They've 3 better off than City, but we know what Manchester City are like. When they need goals, they can put 3 or 4 past you. And here come Arsenal, in behind again, Calafiori, flipped across by Saliba, back post, and that one was seen behind. It was Gabriel who was sliding in at the back post. Again we see it, Saka takes it down really beautifully. Holds off his man, plays a lovely ball through to Calafiori, again in that inside channel. No one watching the runners. Clipped across by Saliba, and it was almost centre-back to centre-back in terms of the pass and then the finish attempt, and Gabriel got it all wrong with his sliding. Certainly not usually in that position to put the ball in the back of the net, the Arsenal centre-back, but they're pushing for more. Fulham's long run of never beating Arsenal in a Premier League game here or away at Arsenal is not looking like it's going to end here this evening. Looks like that record's going to continue. Very much so. That's lovely. Again, well won back. Calafiori, proactive. Here's Eze. He's going to hit one. And he struck it wide. Not too far wide from the midfielder. He readied up for that one. Used Calvin Bassey as his guide to curl it round him. And he looked to find that bottom right corner. Far right corner. Had Leno worried, but just wide in the end. Well, Marco Silva has a bit of thinking to do at half-time, because his team have been well and truly beaten in every area in this first half. They've been very second best. And they're giving Arsenal chances galore here. It's a 4v3. Here's Ebere Eze. Rides it on to Trossard. Trossard closed down there as Fulham did get bodies back in numbers. So we're into added time. 3 additional minutes at the end of the first half. First half that Arsenal have dominated and deservedly lead by more than 1. We'll go through and break down the stats at half time. We'll talk about the weekend's results. We'll talk about what's to come across the weekend still. Saka, lovely little 1-2s between him and Ben White there. Rice, White. Oh, terrible touch there by Ben White. There's that ball down the left channel, easily retrieved by Saliba and taken down by Rice. They just seem to be comfortable, Arsenal. It's the one word I'd have to say, just really, really comfortable. Playing such good football. They look in their element at the minute. David Ryan in no hurry to get the ball forward here. Will go long. Gyökeres felt he was held there as he was trying to bring the ball down, but the referee said there's nothing in it. Bassey. No forward passes on, has to go back to his goalkeeper. Well, this is certainly not the Fulham side that we've seen in the last few weeks. Side that have looked really dangerous, played some nice football, looked really strong defensively. It's been exactly the opposite type of Fulham team that we've seen in recent weeks. They've been really sloppy, really slow, really open defensively. Certainly nowhere near their usual, certainly recent level that we've seen of them, and Arsenal have just outclassed them in this first half. That's a lovely reverse ball, a little too heavy for Calafiori to chase, but perfect idea. Just a little bit too much on it. That's what I mean, they're having fun out there, Arsenal. That it seems like at the minute, they're just enjoying themselves. Kind of had that pressure, you know. We come into the games like this, a must-win game, to retake that lead, to really extend the gap on your opponents against a good Fulham side who've played well recently. The pressure can come on to you, but they've just risen above that, Arsenal, in this first half and gone to a new level. Here's Trossard breaking away down the left, cuts onto his left foot across to Gyökeres, who heads it back the opposite way, but he makes it 3. Bernd Leno may as well have not been in that goal because he was nowhere near it, and Victor Gyökeres heads back across from the way the cross initially came, and he adds a third. He has his second of the match, and Arsenal are cruising their way to a massive 3 points and an incredibly good increase on their goal difference, and we're only at the halfway point of this game. Again, it's really good from Trossard. 1v1, he clips it across, and Gyökeres just rose perfectly. He got away from Bassey, got that little bit of separation, and then, I mean, I don't know what Bernd Leno's trying to do there. The goalkeeper, again, you just get rid of him. There's no point. There's no point in being there. He makes no challenge with the ball whatsoever. It's just a really good header by Gyökeres though, but Arsenal have been streets ahead of Fulham in this first half, and they lead by 3-0, and we're only going into half time. This could be a real statement victory for the Gunners if they continue to extend this lead. As it stands now, they have scored more goals than City this season, 67 to 66 in Arsenal's favour. Their goal difference is four better off. Half time though, and Arsenal are very, very comfortable here at the Emirates. A London derby that could have caused concern with recent Fulham form, but certainly not in the way that they've played in this first half. Saka set up the first for Victor Gyökeres with his delicate cross across the 6-yard box. Then Saka got in the act on his own when he made it 2-0 before Victor Gyökeres found the third, his second of the first half. And Arsenal, at half-time, lead by 3-0. Sure, one last kick. This is gonna be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me. That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible.
Remember, you don't get it twice. The time of your life.
Welcome back to Premier League Live, the second half at the Emirates, where Arsenal are comfortably beating Fulham by 3-0 at half-time, is on the way in just a moment. Already this weekend, Leeds have all but secured their safety in the Premier League for next season, beating already relegated Burnley by 3-1 at Elland Road last night. Brentford 3-0 winners against West Ham put West Ham in a very precarious position before Spurs' game tomorrow. Brentford boosting their hopes of European football with a 3-0 victory. Newcastle 3-1 winners against Brighton, damaging Brighton's hopes of Europe, and Newcastle getting a much needed victory. And Wolves holding 10-man Sunderland to a 1-1 draw. A 1-1 draw that does mathematically ensure that Sunderland are safe, but we knew that anyway. Sunderland with another point, and not a bad point in the end. Any points picked up at this point in the season, more positive for the newly promoted side. But at half-time, it is all Arsenal, really. And Bukayo Saka's had 45 minutes, and he's done. Because Donny Madueke's going to be coming on for the second half here for Arsenal. And I have to say, Bukayo Saka has played incredible in that first half. He was integral to the way Arsenal attacked in that first half, and they've got a 3-goal lead and probably want to add more to this. We talked about goals scored, goal difference could very easily decide the title, and with Arsenal with a 3-goal lead, very rarely in the Premier League do you get a chance to kind of help your goal difference. And this is the perfect opportunity surely for Arsenal to give themselves as much of a lead as they possibly can against Manchester City. So we get back underway. A huge second half really for Arsenal to try and extend this advantage, and for Fulham really to make it more of this, well, a lot more defensively solid they need to be. There's no doubt about that. Fulham were, well off the level in that first half, but Arsenal played to a level that Fulham just couldn't match, and that was probably that simple really in the first 45 minutes. 14 shots they had in the whole of the first half, Arsenal, just 2 for Fulham. They didn't have a shot on target in that whole first half, did the visitors. Arsenal over 60% possession. An XG of 2.42 is a huge XG from one half of football, but they truly deserved it, Arsenal, and are very much worthy of their lead. Donny Madueke on here, as I said, for Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka, who's had an unbelievable first half. Here's Harrison Reed to Harry Wilson. Castagna, I wonder what tweaks Marco Silva's made to his side at half-time. There's no way they could have played the same way they did in the first half. They were passengers in the game, basically, Fulham. They weren't tracking runners, they weren't closing down spaces, they were really open, really sloppy in possession, really lethargic out of possession. They were, the perfect storm. Lukic again stretching, heavy touch, and Bassi has to make that challenge, and he made it cleanly, said the referee. They break forward here. One hit from range from Jimenez. Worth a hit. He wasn't too far away in the end, had David Raya worried. Well, Jimenez just got a little bit impatient there. He's probably had enough of feeding off the big scraps. Well, he hasn't scored since the 21st of March when he put a penalty past Burnley. Actually, he hasn't scored from open play since late February, has Raul Jimenez, away at Sunderland in a 3-1 win. Scored twice in that game. Scored 9 Premier League goals this season, Raul Jimenez. Harry Wilson finds Anthony Robinson. On the left comes Chukwueze. Robinson made the undercutting run, but Chukwueze wanted to go to the box, blocked. Picked up by Lukic. Now here's Emile Smith-Rowe. A little bit better from Fulham. Bassi. to Smith Rowe. Down the line is Robinson with a cross, and a sliced clearance there from Saliba behind for a Fulham corner. More patient from the visitors there on that occasion. Ball in by Robinson was dangerous. William Saliba was clearly worried. Sliced at the ball. Puts it out for the corner. Positive start to the second half for the visitors. Harrison Reid, the captain, over to take this corner for Fulham. Swinging in with the right foot. Flicked on at the front post, and not too far away as it skipped out for a corner at the back post. I think it might have took a deflection. We see this whipped in again, and it's Castagna who had the contact at the front post, but whether it took a deflection or not. Yeah, come off the left shoulder of Riccardo Calafiori. Kind of just knocked it away from goal, but really good header by Castagna at the front post. Another corner whipped in, this time at the back post. Header by Fulham. That one's off target. Behind for the goal kick. Jimenez that time. Those back-to-back corners, that's more corners than they had in the whole of the first half. And only one corner in the whole of the first half, and that was gifted to them by Arsenal. Here is William Saliba. He again waited for the run. It was coming there from Ben White who made it, but flag stayed down. And here come Fulham. Smith Rowe. And the left to Chukwueze. To Lukic. Now Bassey. And the touchline it goes again. Chukwueze. Time and space. Goes for the cross. Easily retrieved by Rice, but he's got distance to go, and he plays a lovely weighted ball to Madueke. Up against Lukic. Madueke cuts on the inside. Noni Madueke rolls it across looking for Eze. Back to Madueke. Then through to Ebere Eze, who was just muscled out of the way by the Fulham centre-back Caoimhan Ferris. Nice combination between Eze and Madueke there. Almost combining for a big moment. Fulham get a little bit sloppy again in possession in their own half, but Arsenal able to see it back to their defenders. Here is Gabriel to Trossard. Well, the reverse fixture between these two earlier in the season. Arsenal won by just the odd goal away at Craven Cottage. Leandro Trossard's goal on 58 minutes was enough to see Arsenal pick up 3 points at Craven Cottage. If they were to win here by this margin or bigger, it would be their biggest winning margin in against Fulham since March 2023 when they won 3-0 at the Cottage. And the most goals they've scored at home against Fulham since a 4-1 victory back in January 2019. Here's Madueke to Rice. Down the line it goes to White. To Rice. Saliba to Gabriel. Down the line to Trossard. Trying to take on Timothy Castagna. Trossard plays it back to Gabriel. There's Trossard taking his time, waiting for his right option. He squares it across to Eze. He evades pressure. Still finds the space to play it out wide. Here's Madueke. Rolls it through. Nice run from White. White cuts it across. Cleared by Anderson and then followed up by Robinson. No way through for Jimenez, who headed off an Arsenal man, but I think the foul's going to be given there. Andy in the chest says, hey man, just in. This will help the Gunners' goal difference. Well, very much so, as we said in the first half, about how The last time the Premier League came down to goal difference was back in 2012 when Manchester City won the title on the final day. So it hasn't been that close in 14 years. And it could very much come down to that if City keep at pace with Arsenal. Goal difference or even goals scored could decide the Premier League title this season, which would be a bizarre way for this season to end. Arsenal doing everything they can at the minute to give themselves as much of an advantage as they can. It'll be back-to-back league wins, back-to-back league clean sheets if they can hold on to not conceding here tonight and extending their goal difference by at least 4 on Manchester City. And albeit City would have had the better goal difference coming into these last 2 games and more goals scored, but Arsenal doing their ever most to try and find the advantage in all of those areas for City even play. Of course, Man City away at Everton this weekend on Monday night. Not an easy game to go away to Everton and win. An Everton side who've been out of form and lost their last 2 games in added time, remember. The Merseyside derby and then last week, of course. Against West Ham at the London Stadium, so certainly an Everton side who will be motivated to try and get back on winning ways, but City will give them one hell of a fight. Remember, Arsenal as well won't want to risk too many players for tonight as well. They're 3-0 up. They'll probably make some changes early. They've got that huge Champions League game against Atletico here in 3 days. 1-1 draw from the first leg, so win on the night and they're into the Champions League final. So could be a huge night in 3 days' time for Arsenal. And they have a trip to West Ham next weekend, next Sunday. West Ham fighting for their lives at the bottom. They could be in the bottom 3 by the time that game kicks off next week, West Ham. And they have Burnley at home in their final home game of the season before they travel to Crystal Palace on the final day, Arsenal. Nicely done, White, Madueke. Calafiori's come central. They wanted a foul on Ben White wide, but the referee let it run. As Wilson clipped on the ball, and they've won it back again, Arsenal. Nicely done by Trossard. Rolls it through for Gyökeres, who couldn't get the pace. Leno got something to it to stop it. He's on a hat-trick, Victor Gyökeres, remember. Lewis Skelly. Gabriel. Trossard to Rice. Back to Saliba. It seems like they've regained that control that they had in the first half, Arsenal. Popping it around for fun, and Fulham looking a little bit just not able to match the pace that Arsenal are putting into the game and the quality they're providing at the moment. Here's Trossard, lovely little touch inside. He's going to want to shoot, but he wasn't given the space there on that occasion. So they recycle it with pace and zip. Kind of feel like, usually from what we've seen from Arsenal's passing, it is very kind of concentrated. It's very pinpoint onto the players' feet. They haven't added much pace to their passing this season. Today they've been very sharp. They've added that extra little zip to their passes, a little bit of some added extra to it. It might just be a little thing, but they've just increased the tempo of this game. In possession, they've not been boring, they've not been kind of passing it sideways or backwards. They have been progressing the ball forward, playing those extra passes, and certainly being more threatening in those positions because of that. Madueke wins the ball back well off Anthony Robinson here. He's left for dead as Madueke went down wanting the free kick and is given the free kick. Yeah, Madueke, who had Robinson on the ground, and then Robinson decided to try and return the favour. This time though it's going to be a foul. Yeah, Madueke, he just lost his balance there, Robinson, and then his challenge as he went down took Madueke down. That's going to be a free kick to Arsenal. And let's see what this free kick has in store then. Declan Rice to deliver from this right hand side. What can he put into the box here? Right footed, swung to the back post, and Bassi got a head to it, but Gyökeres will take it down. There's a Fulham player down in the area. Referee's playing on for the moment. Calafiori as it drops here for Trossard, who kind of just caught it on the volley. Not much pace in it as Leno. That's one fly up the field. Jimenez on his own up there for Fulham. He's taking the ball down, waiting for some help. It arrives with Harry Wilson, and he recycles it back to his captain Harrison Reed. Nicely done there by Raul Jimenez, getting Fulham up the pitch. That's a nice ball by Smith Rowe. Hard across by Robinson, but blocked by Saliba and picked up by Rice. Trossard keeps this one in play. Excuse me. Gabriel backwards to David Raya. Well, I have to say they're really enjoying themselves today, these Arsenal fans. You know, there was kind of a stark contrast between this game and the game against Newcastle last week. That Newcastle game was a lot of nerves, a lot of tension, a lot of angst in the stadium. But this, they're having a lovely day out. Bank holiday weekend, and it's like a nice little Saturday afternoon out to watch your team stroll past their opponents. And at the minute, it has been like a nice Sunday afternoon walk. Even though it's Saturday, it's felt like that for Arsenal. They've not had to really get out of first gear, and they've played excellently well. They've been really, really strong. As we hit the hour mark, Arsenal 3, Fulham 0. Fulham ready some changes on the sidelines. Here is Joachim Andersen. Calvin Bassey. To Robinson, back to Anderson. Oh, why am you yawning so much? Castagna to Harry Wilson. Goes with a reverse ball, finding the run of Chukwueze. Back to Wilson, who's wide. Inside to Chukwueze. Chukwueze's cross was dangerous, but cleaned away by Gabriel. He was strong. Right, muscled his man there. Bassey. It's Lukic. Decent spell this from Fulham. Chukwueze to Reed, and he has to force it all the way back to Bernd Leno in the Fulham goal. Well, Fulham have won just one of the last 15 Premier League games against Arsenal. A 2-1 home win back in December 2023. But they've never won a Premier League away game against the league leaders in 13 attempts. Fulham drawn 3 and lost 10 times. With this, their first visit to a league leader since a 2-2 draw at Liverpool in December 2024. Liverpool were down to 10 men in that game as well. I remember it well. Andy Robertson got sent off that day. Here is Smith Rowe. Clipped it across, deflected, and then Calafiori intercepting. Gyökeres quick and alert to it, but Fulham sent it back up the field, and that one evades the players in black and white. Goes out for a throw. Well, Arsenal have conceded just 11 goals in their 17 Premier League home games this season, and have only failed to find the net themselves at the Emirates once. They've conceded more than once, just twice at home this season, with those coming in both of their defeats. Man United and Bournemouth, of course. Right, triple Fulham change then. Tom Kearney, Oscar Bob, and couldn't quite make out the other one. Josh King. It is. So Tom Kearney, Oscar Bob and Josh King all coming on. replacing Harrison Reid, Samuel Chukwueze and Harry Wilson. And Arsenal are going to go to their bench at this juncture as well. Martin Zubimendi and Gabriel Jesus going to be coming on. Victor Gyökeres won't get his chance to get the hat-trick, but I have to say 2 goals and an assist is not too shabby a performance from Victor Gyökeres. And the Swede, who's found his form again in an Arsenal shirt, has absolutely strolled around for fun. And Declan Rice is also going to be replaced here. Rightfully so. Give him a rest before Tuesday. And a double Arsenal substitution. Throw in here for the Gunners, deep in their own half. Zubimendi's first involvement as they hook the ball up the field, but Hirkish was there to try and steal it off Eze. Anderson retrieving the ball there, finding Castagna. Bassett. Kearney under a bit of pressure, reverses it round the corner to Anthony Robinson. It's over 25 minutes to go. Arsenal 3, Fulham 0 here at the Emirates. Castagna. In the corner it goes. A bouncing ball in behind Calafiori, who got the measure of it well. Oh, Raya took a bit of an extra risk there, and that was lovely. Ultimately from Saliba to evade pressure. He finds Ben White. Madweke to Zubimendi. Now Lewis Skelly. So he was dragged back, minds Lewis Skelly, by Sasa Lukic. He's on a yellow card, Sasa Lukic. Has to be very careful. Fulham haven't had a red card against them all season. Only Arsenal and Fulham, the 2 sides in the Premier League, yet to receive a red card this season. And Sasa Lukic, a little late on minds Lewis Skelly, and lucky to get away with that. Already on a yellow card, so maybe the referee erred on the side of caution. Excuse me. Nice held up there by Jesus, but he was offside. Kearney back to Bassey. Don't forget as well, World Premier League football tomorrow. Huge game at Old Trafford. An earlier kick-off on a Sunday, 3:30 kick-off as Man United host Liverpool. The 2 sides in the top 5, and whoever wins that game will be 3rd at the end of the afternoon. Man United all but mathematically confirmed Champions League football. Here comes Jesus. Ball behind. I think the flag was up anyway against Gabby Jesus. As I was saying, whoever wins that one will finish 3rd, or will end the day 3rd tomorrow. Man United with a chance to go 6 clear of Liverpool in the table if they win. Liverpool side who can go above United with a victory tomorrow. To go above them on goal difference. And if Liverpool were to win, then both United and Liverpool would technically be mathematically into the Champions League, because Bournemouth will be on 49 points. They would have to win to go to 52 with only 3 games left. Both Man United and Liverpool could be on 61 by the end of tomorrow. United could be on 64, which would certainly qualify them for Champions League football. Right, final quarter of this game. Arsenal 3 up. Fulham being a little bit more of a fight in the second half, certainly in possession, but I think Arsenal had won this game quite a long time ago. Probably indicated by the fact that the 2 Arsenal goal scorers are off the field at the minute. And that probably shows that Mikel Arteta wants to make some subs. Some more fresh legs and just the ability to get over the line and try and manage them for a huge game here on Tuesday nights. Well, here's a stat for you that did end this evening. Fulham were, along with Manchester City, the only two sides to yet to concede the opening goal of a game in the first 15 minutes of a match. They did that today, conceding inside 9 minutes. That's the first time this season that Fulham have conceded a goal in the first 15 minutes of a match. Only them and City, coming into tonight's game, had failed to do so. Been a little bit frustrated for the second half, Mikel Arteta. His team in the first half over 60% possession, but around about 50-50 in the second. Fulham have had more shots and a better XG, more big chances. They've been much more of a threat in the second period, Fulham. Maybe just Arsenal taking their foot off the pedal at the minute, being just a little bit more reserved. Tom Kearney. Smith Rowe plays a lovely ball to Josh King, who rode the challenges, was brought down quite cynically at the edge of the box. The referee was going to play advantage, but he's going to pull it back here for the foul. Fulham free kick as Madueke committed the foul on Josh King. Yeah, King just got to the ball first and Madueke was late. Just caught the Fulham player. And in the last 20 minutes, it's Arsenal 3, Fulham 0, but Fulham with a free kick here, high up the field on the left-hand side of the box. With David Raya, 16 clean sheets this season. It's the most of any goalkeeper. And remember, if he wins this one, he would have the chance to, if Donnarumma was to fail to keep a clean sheet this weekend, to have the Golden Glove by 10 o'clock Monday night. Kearney left it. The shot hits the wall. Kearney hits it again, and the deflection takes a bind for the corner. Yeah, well, Kearney looked like he was going to take it. He left it. Left it. Jimenez took it, hit the wall. Back to Kearney it came, and then he shot it off an Arsenal player. And that went behind for a corner. Calafiori with the block with his back there. Sasa Lukic to take this corner. Sasa Lukic ready for this. Right-footed, swung across, up and away by Gabriel at the front post. Flicked back in by Jimenez into the mix. Cleared away again well. Kearney looking for Bassi, who chested it well, and the shot by Castagna certainly had Raya worried, and he did spill it, but ultimately to no overt danger. Yeah, nicely done by Bassi, who just out-muscled Gabriel, just chested it down and allowed it to be set up for Castagna, who was arriving. He struck it well with his right. The pace on it had Raya unable to keep a hold of it, ultimately. Can you believe it? That was their first shot on target of the game. Zubimendi penalised here for a foul. Josh King again. And they're going to make another change here. Fulham going to bring on Rodrigo Muniz. He's going to replace Raul Jimenez. So straight swap up front for the Cottagers. I don't like calling them the Cottagers, but that's their nickname. Certainly feel like Fulham can nick a goal here, but at the end of the day, That'd be all important. Ball in behind. Looking for the run of King, but well marshalled there. Well, if we really deep dive and analyse this in terms of the table and what this could mean. So Arsenal's goal difference would be plus 41. Man City would have a plus 37, which would mean that if City were, for example, win 2-0 against Everton or win by a 2-goal scoreline and then win by a 3-goal scoreline in their other game in hand, they would have a goal difference advantage over Arsenal. Now, the one thing that City do have is a better goals scored ratio. They've scored 66, Arsenal have now scored 67, so even if City win their 2 games in hand by 1-0, they would still have a better goals scored ratio than Arsenal, and the goal difference could be very tight. It's still very much in the balance, even with Arsenal's 4 goals that they've carved out in the last 2 Premier League games without reply to improve their goal difference. And it all comes down to the points, and I think that's where the league could be won or lost. I don't think both sides will win between now and the end of the season, all the way throughout. And that's where it could be decided. And as I said, Arsenal trip to West Ham. West Ham fighting for their lives. It wouldn't surprise me if something comes out of that one. After a really difficult Champions League game on Tuesday night. They will have Tuesday to Sunday to recover, but it's a lot to take out of a team. One thing is, though, for Manchester City, they've got, of course, Everton away and then Brentford at home, their next 2 Premier League games. Then they've got Crystal Palace to play before the FA Cup final. Then Bournemouth to play the midweek after the FA Cup final. And then the final game of the season. So City don't have an easy run of it either. So, gotta say, I do still think City's running is more difficult. But Arsenal, at the moment, making easy work of their running to this point. And it's all come back down to that defence. They've just been a little bit more open, and the fact that they've been a bit more aggressive going forward. But that's the only difference you really have to say about this Arsenal team. They've still been as resolute, as strong defensively as they have been all season. They've just been a little bit more open to taking a few more risks tonight, and it's been a welcome. It's been very welcomed, I have to say. Bassey. He's drifting forward. Plays a ball into Smith Rowe, who struck it across and struck it into the side netting. And that might be his last involvement because he's gone straight down. They've still got one change they can make here, Fulham. I believe. Yeah, they can. Smith Rowe might have to be substituted here. As he shot, something he must have pulled something. And you can see it here, he made it a really nice run, and he kind of pulled back from the shot. Still had the shot, but not to the real ferocity you would expect, and certainly felt something when he readied to shoot there, Emile Smith Rowe. We'll see what the issue in the diagnosis is here. Looks like Max Dowman's going to be coming on for Arsenal. And it's going to see him replacing Ebere Eze. So Eze off and Dowman on for Arsenal. This will be their 4th sub of the game. Another good game for Eberechi Eze. Well, Fulham are going to make that change. Going to see Emile Smith Rowe being replaced here by Jonah Kusi Asari. So substitution there, and the 18-year-old Swedish player is coming on. Of course, on loan at Fulham from Bayern Munich. Kusi Asari is on here. Doesn't look 18, I have to say. Very old looking for an 18-year-old. Raya kicks this one long. Straight out of play there for the throw-in. Well, I'm sure in the grand scheme of things, Mikel Arteta will be quite pleased, albeit a bit disappointed his side have kind of gone off the boil in the second half. But in a game where they probably could have added a fourth or a fifth, and probably still could, remember. It's not over and done yet, but here is Max Dowman. Out wide it goes to Madueke. Back to Dowman. Fresh legs on the field. Dowman trying to run through trouble there, run into trouble in Tom Kearney, but it was helped out by Zubamendi, who wins it back. Now Madueke down the right hand side, takes on his man, clips it across, and Anderson there with a header to put it behind for the Arsenal corner. So corner here to the Gunners. Just over 10 minutes to go at the Emirates. Arsenal 3, Fulham 0. Trossard, Zubamendi and Calafiori all lining up with the back post. Madueke left-footed delivery. Clipped on the near post by Calafiori and onto the crossbar. Kusi Asari clears it away. Just a down by Lewis Skelly. Did very well there to break forward. He had the challenges and finds Trossard, who was brought down. That's going to be a free kick. Kusi Asari with the challenge. Well, Ricardo Calafiori has to be very unlucky. I mean, he must have broke a mirror this week or something. The luck is not for him tonight. He had a goal disallowed earlier, and then his header was going past into the net, and it came off the head of the Fulham goalkeeper and onto the crossbar. I mean, how unlucky can you get? They take the free kick short here. Trossard. Oh, left too much there for Lewis Skelly to do. Lukic is there to intercept. As it comes back to Bassi, a little bit wayward. That ball. Down the left come Fulham. Dowman, really good, strong ability there to win it back. And he wins Arsenal the throw-in. Really impressive, Max Dowman, we know that. We've seen it all season. It's been fantastic when he's been called into action for Arsenal. The fact that he's still only 16 is mental. Absolutely nuts. Didn't know much about that header, Trossard, but seen out by Castagna for a Arsenal throw. Going to make another change here. Mikel Arteta, Christian Mosquera is going to be coming on. It's going to see the replacement of Ben White, so a straight swap it right back for Arsenal. Calafiori take this throw in. Down the line he goes. Held there by Jesus, battling with Anderson. Jesus does enough to win a throw in off Castagna. Higher up the field this time. Calafiore shielding the ball well. Ball took a deflection. Ultimately retrieved by Fulham. Bassey takes it on and was brought down on the edge of his box and then got up to keep a hold of the ball. Don't know how he done that, Caoimhan Bassey, but he did. Man mountain of a player is Caoimhan Bassey. A massive lump to try and take down, I have to say. Here is Oscar Bob. Haven't really seen much of him early doors. There's King with a lovely little flick in behind Calafiore, but helped by Gabriel in defending that situation. 6 minutes to go. Dauman, lovely turn. Breaks away from his man in Lukic, and he's breaking away here, Max Dauman. Rolls it back onto his right foot, and he wasn't too far away. Did really, really well there, Max Dauman. Just the footwork. He breaks away from Lukic, but has the pace to break away, and then Kusi Asari's right on the back of him, and he does really well. His skill to just take it away from the man, open that space up and have the shot. Just put too much on it and a little bit wide, but really, really good build-up play. Really, really good build-up play. He does well. Trossard has to go backwards though. To Gabriel. To Saliba. They worked themselves into a bit of trouble there, but they did well to work out of it, Arsenal. Trossard. Into Dauman. Look at the space here for Madueke. Rolls him in. Madueke just closed off in the neck of time there by Anthony Robinson. Looked like it would have been easy street there for Madueke if he'd have found his way past his man. Would have had acres of space in front of him. Lukic kept in play by Robinson. Snatching a consolation here, Fulham. Sorry, held off by Madueke. That one's nicely played through, but Josh King was seen out well by William Saliba, who sees behind for the goal kick. Oh, kick by Raya. Some ball in behind, but no danger on the end of it. Comfortably recovered by Bernd Leno. A couple of minutes to go. Arsenal should cruise home for a 3-0 victory. Fulham have been more of a threat in the second half, but it's been minimal, I'd have to say. They have really, really struggled, the visitors. Just the one shot on target. Arsenal effectively on the afternoon. But it could have had more. A day to forget for Marco Silva's team, but they're making such progress. I mean, 14 wins out of 35 games, 48 points. They're very much in the mix. They can pick up some form between now and the end of the season. They very much could be a contender. They've got Bournemouth at home, Wolves away and Newcastle at home. I say they win 2 of those games, they could be real contenders for Europe. Marco Silva's Fulham, so this was never to be the game to decide their season. But on the day, they've just been outclassed by Arsenal. It's as simple as that. And there's no shame in that. Definitely not. Here's Castagna. Bob. King did well to hold off his marker. Back across to Bassey. Reverses it into Josh King's path. He's been a real bright spark for Fulham since he came off the bench. Now Robinson trying to return the favour to King, who went down. And ultimately goes behind for a goal kick. Well done by William Saliba. 1v1. Yeah, nice ball by Robinson. Good run by King. Yeah, pretty simple. Good challenge. Another reminder for you tomorrow, Man United against Liverpool at 3:30 at Old Trafford. Always one of the biggest games of the season in the Premier League, and that is tomorrow at 3:30, the kick-off in that one. Then on Monday, bank holiday Monday, we end the weekend with a trip to the Hill Dickinson. Everton hosting Manchester City. City try and close the gap to 3 points again on Arsenal if they can win at Everton. That's on Monday nights at 8 o'clock. See how long will be added on here at the end of the 90 minutes. Four added minutes. Well, look at that. A home crowd that have really enjoyed their Saturday afternoon out. Quite the contrast. What a difference a week can make. From a nervy, nail-biting 1-0 victory over Newcastle a week ago to quite the opposite just 7 days later against Fulham. A much more like it performance from Arsenal. And you kind of feel that they've just picked up momentum again against Manchester City. Back-to-back league victories after their really tough spell, Arsenal, and now it's a straight race to the finish line. And Arsenal have taken a couple of lengths of a lead here going into the home straight. City can catch, and if they can keep their calm and keep to their level, they can very much get themselves back on a level footing after the same number of games played. Here's Josh King breaking away for Fulham. Opportunity to steal a goal. The bounce of the ball just caught the foot of Mosquera, who was able to clear. Maybe a slice of luck that Arsenal probably deserved on the basis of the game. He said the referee is again a poor ball by Fulham, given away to Madueke. Might snatch a fourth here, Arsenal, if they move it quick enough. 2 minutes to go. Trossard down the left hand side onto his right foot, then back onto his left. Really nicely done as he clips it to the back post. Too high. Will be seen out of play by Kusiasari as he tried to anyway, but nicely done by Mosquera to keep it in play. Max Dalman fended off by Robinson, at least for now. That ball prodded through and a difficult one. The flag's gone up. There's a player offside. Albeit Fulham's run has been pretty good recently, but they've actually only won one of their last 8 away league games. It was away at Sunderland in February. They haven't won more than once away from home in a row since December, when they won 3 away from home in a row, away at Spurs, Burnley and West Ham. It's going to be 9. Well, they've won just once on the road in the last 9. For Arsenal, It's now it's going to be 5 wins out of the last 6 home league games after that little blip to Bournemouth, but wins against Sunderland, Chelsea, Everton, Newcastle, and then Fulham will be added to the list. It's a decent run of form. Certainly when it comes to the league, their back-to-back league defeats are matched by back-to-back league victories in response. And the Gunners seem to be back on form at the right point in this season, heading into the Champions League game on Tuesday night with form, quality and certainly confidence, knowing a win has them in a Champions League final. Because there is the final whistle. Arsenal again dominant and rightfully taking a massive 3 points and adding it to their lead at the top. 76-70 is the gap. City with 2 games in hand, but Arsenal putting the points on the board. The arguments of whether you would want the games in hand or the points on the board, that argument will never stop, but surely Arsenal with a team in form and City with all the work to do, you'd rather be in Arsenal's position. But who knows what the title race will have between now and the next few weeks. May has begun. April, that usually is the month of collapse for Arsenal, they've survived it and still have a lead. So who knows what will come next. But Manchester City certainly have to be perfect to try and stop this Arsenal team. We'll see how they fare on Monday nights. But under the lights in the Saturday evening game, Arsenal, back-to-back league victories, back-to-back league clean sheets. The Gunners are sitting pretty at the top, and they look like they're strolling their way to this title. Arsenal 3, Fulham 0. And that game done and dusted, so we're halfway through our fixtures this weekend. 3 for you tomorrow. A 2 o'clock kickoff between Bournemouth and Crystal Palace. We'll join you with that game in play when we come on air for Manchester United against Liverpool. That's at 3:20 tomorrow, kickoff at 3:30. Then there's a 7 o'clock game at Villa Park between Aston Villa and Spurs tomorrow at 7. Then on Bank Holiday Monday, it's a 3 o'clock kickoff at Stamford Bridge between Chelsea and Nottingham Forest before we round off the weekend on Monday evening at the Hill Dickinson Stadium. Everton taking on Manchester City. Quick look at the table. Arsenal leading the way by 6 points. There we go. Confirmation that Arsenal are leading the way by 6 points on Manchester City, but City have played only 33 games. Arsenal have played 35. So, it is all to play for there. But our big game tomorrow, it is one of the biggest games, if not the biggest game in English football. It's at Old Trafford as Man United host Liverpool tomorrow, 3:30 here in LFS, and we can't wait to have your company for that one. But that's it from us tonight. Arsenal, a massive leap in the right direction for the Gunners. 3 goals, 3 points, a clean sheet. It's a perfect night at the Emirates for the Gunners. They enjoyed it. City watch on knowing they've a job to do in their next 2 games in hand. But it certainly starts with a tricky trip away to Everton. And Arsenal will be there watching to see if City slip up. Thanks for your company. We'll see you again soon.